not the greatest. You were actually the least. But then, of course, still, people decided that they wanted to do their own thing, build their own shrines, believe in their own wrong gods. They love, eggs and bunnies, Ishtar and Easter, whatever you call it. I don't care. And then, of course, the moment came when everything changed. That moment was when Jesus was born and Simeon held him in the temple in his hands, if you remember. And he said, Lord, now I can depart in peace because I've seen your salvation. He said, Yeshua, Jesus. And then he said, this baby eventually will become the light of revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of his people Israel. So from the very beginning, Jesus came not just, and this is why when Jesus approached John the Baptist, and by the way, John was not a Baptist.
The baptizing.
But when Jesus approached John, what did John say? Behold, the Lamb of God
who
that takes away what?
the sin of the world.
The sin of the whole world, not just Israel. You understand that? And Jesus came to the Samaritan woman, and she said, why are you here? Your fathers worship elsewhere. And he said, yes, true. You're right. Salvation is of the Jews. You worship in a place you don't know. We worship in a place we do know. But I tell you, the time is coming, and it is now, that God is going to seek for true worshipers who will worship him in spirit and in truth. For God is a spirit, he said. He basically told the Samaritan woman, religion is over. Enough is enough. And this is exactly the message that Paul took to the rest of the world. And that is exactly what made the religious people angry. And every time he would leave, they would show up and say, we heard Paul was here. Yes, he's a great God. I'm sure he told you that you have to circumcise all the men because you want to be part of the people of God of Israel. See, they made up, again, religious stuff. So it became a big issue. And every believer, all the believers around the world started writing letters and say, really? I mean, I'm 40 years old, I'm 50 years old, I'm 60 years old. Do I need to, and then the church met in Jerusalem, Acts chapter 15. And Peter said, let me tell you something. I'm the one that God chose to first deliver the message to the Gentiles. Where was it? Right here, in the city of Caesarea. This is where Peter shared with the first Gentile family, the family of Cornelius.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Right here. That's the beginning of the gospel going out to the Gentile world. Right here. That's the beginning of your faith. That's the journey that he made from Joppa to Caesarea. So you will also understand the revelation he got on the rooftop of Simon the tanner's house. And now you are partakers of the fatness of the oil. Now you who once were not his people, you're now his people. And now you can call him Abba Father also. You understand? And Peter said, why should we put on them the burden that our fathers couldn't even bear? In fact, we need to be saved by grace alone, just like they do. He saw how salvation is not by works and by religion and by tradition, but it's by faith alone. He saw it, and he was provoked to jealousy. And he came to the church in Jerusalem and he said, actually, the way they believe, that's the way we should believe. And so you see, you provoke the Jews to jealousy. And that's what Romans 11 says. That eventually, Israel will be provoked to jealousy by those of the Gentiles who became believers. So I just wanted to put together Joppa and Caesarea for you. And that is exactly why you're here. From so many different parts of the world. Some of you, New Zealand, Australia. Some of you are from Western Europe. Some of you are from America, Canada, other places, Philippines. Listen, there's one common thing to all of you. You come from such different backgrounds. Look at it. I mean, what could possibly bring you together? Only one thing: your faith, which has no boundaries and no limitation. And so I want you to remember that the journey from Jaffa to Caesarea is your journey from the pagan world where there is no hope to the God of Israel, the Messiah of Israel, the only way, truth, and life, the salvation of the world, Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay? Keep that in mind. And this is where your journey of faith begins right now when you see all those biblical sites. I want you to absorb it all. God gave you a gift now, 10 days of Him with you, His Word, His land, His people. He gave you bags, notebooks, pens, Bibles. You have no excuse. Now take it and do with it what you need to do, okay?